What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool transfer news video. And after the devastating news that Matip got injured and Liverpool are fearing that Matip's injury is a long-term injury, he could be out for 1 or 2 months, maybe even more. He suffered an adductor injury and Jurgen Klopp confirmed that it's not looking good, which means that he will miss probably the next 3 or 4 weeks at least. Liverpool now absolutely have to make a transfer in the January transfer window, and according to Get French Football News, which is a very reliable French news outlet reporting on all things like French football considered transfer news, Liverpool have made contact for Sven Botman. He will be the focus of this video, but we will also take a look at the reaction of Jurgen Klopp and Robertson and other people for the Liverpool West Brom game. But this is a very talented 20-year-old Dutch centre-back who is an Ajax product, an Ajax Youth Academy product. He was sold to Lille from Ajax just 6 months ago for £8 million, so he could be available on a pretty reliable, like cheap transfer. But of course Lille are asking a huge transfer fee, but I think we can negotiate that a little bit lower. The only worry is that he's a little bit inexperienced, but he's a great talent, and the testament to that is that he has been called up to the Netherlands national team. Premier League side Liverpool have made contact with Sven Botman's agent in November about a possible future transfer, January transfer, according to the Foot Mercato newspaper. Liverpool are of course without Gomez, without Van Dijk, and now without Matip, so we don't have a senior centre-back at the club, only Fabinho. We have some youngsters, but if Fabinho gets injured, or if we have to play Reece Williams or Nathaniel Phillips for a prolonged period of time, it's a disaster waiting to happen. And I'm pretty convinced that one of the reasons why Liverpool conceded goals late on against teams like Brighton, Fulham and West Brom is that Van Dijk was not on the pitch. We didn't have a towering centre-back who could head those corners away. Van Dijk just headed everything away, and we missed even Matip from corners, defending corners yesterday. Inter Milan have also made inquiries for the ex-Ajax defender. Lille are telling clubs that they want around £45 million in order to sell Botman, but of course they just put this incredibly high transfer valuation to basically not have to deal with not serious clubs. But Liverpool are serious about signing a centre-back in the January transfer, and I think we have to. Our hands are tied behind our backs with the Matip injury. We can't go into the next 2 months of Premier League football with just Fabinho as our only player, who is a senior player who can play centre-back. But Lille have a very public recent financial difficulty, financial problems because of the pandemic. It seems probable that Lille would be willing to sell the player for just 30 million euros, which is like 27 million pounds according to Get France Football News, which would triple the fee. Even that fee would be like 3 times as much that they paid to Ajax for the services of Sven Botman. And I would love to see Sven Botman play for Liverpool because he's tall, 6'4" tall, he's left-sided, he's still very young, just 20 years old, and no doubt that he would improve under Jurgen Klopp. And according to some Liverpool fans, he is an absolute wall, by far the best centre-back in the French league this season. And his strengths are that he has a great passing, great tackling, he's good at aerial duels, he has very strong player, physical, and he's very brave, and he still has no significant weakness. Of course, he's just 20 years old, so probably inexperience is his weakness. He's 193 centimeters tall, that's 6'4" tall. I heard a lot of good things about Sven Botman, and the fact that he's playing for a Lille side who are in the French title race. 17 games Sven Botman played, and he's not injury prone. He played 90 minutes for Lille pretty much in a row for like months. The last time he didn't play 90 minutes for Lille, it was in the Europa League in October. And the last time he didn't play 90 minutes for Lille in the French league, well, that didn't happen yet. He played every single minute of every single game for Lille in the French league. Sorry, he played 45 minutes against Celtic in December in the Europa League as well. And Lille actually joined first in the French league on a goal difference, only second to Lyon, and they are 1 point ahead of PSG. And they only conceded 12 goals in 17 games, which puts them as the second best defensive side in the French league, only behind Paris Saint-Germain. So that is a terrific defensive record for Lille. They only lost one game all season in the French league, and that was to a smaller club, Brest. So Lille are doing exceptionally well, and that is largely down to Sven Botman at the heart of their defense. So he has been called up to the Netherlands national team, but he hasn't made his debut, didn't make his debut yet, and I'm not sure it's a good idea to pay 27 million pounds for a centre-back who was just worth 8 million in the summer. 6 months later, I think that Lille just wants this high transfer valuation, so nobody buys Botman from them, because their priority, of course, is to try to win their first French league title in a long time, and also they are trying to qualify for the Champions League next season as well. So Liverpool still have huge problems in the centre-back area with Matip, Gomez and Van Dijk out injured long term now. I think we have to sign a centre-back. If we don't sign a centre-back, I can see Liverpool dropping just too many points in the Premier League, because teams are taking advantage of our weakness from set pieces. What is also good news for Liverpool, on the other hand, is that James Milner, Xherdan Shaqiri was among the substitutes against West Brom, and also we could have Thiago back for the Newcastle game. And this is what Jamie Carragher said: "It's a massive worry, but it's not a new worry. Joel Matip will not play every game between now and the end of the season. We knew that even before the injury, and that's why it's paramount that Liverpool sign somebody in January. I said that as soon as Virgil van Dijk had his injury against Everton. Fabinho's gone there, and he looked like a top class centre-back in that position. So maybe people at the club felt the need wasn't as urgent, but Joel Matip is too injury prone. His body can't take the rigor of playing Premier League football week in, week out. We know that since he joined. He's a really good player, but he is in and out with injuries all the time." According to Carragher, he says, "I still believe Liverpool are the best team in this league, even without Van Dijk, and I think most people would say they are favourites to win the Premier League. The only way they don't win it is if they have problems at centre-back, where Reece Williams or Nat Phillips have to play for a prolonged period of time. The odd game now and again, that's fine, they have done fantastic, but I know, since that's the position I played, it's not really a position for young players as such. At times they will make mistakes, as they are young players, they are learning. That's the only way that could cost Liverpool the Premier League title, and I don't necessarily mean bringing in a centre-back for 70-80 million in January, like a Van Dijk type of signing, and not necessarily someone to go straight into the team, just someone there so that Liverpool don't end up with two young lads at some stage for 5 or 6 weeks if Fabinho was to go down injured. At this moment, Liverpool have one senior centre-back who is available this season, and he's injury prone, so they have to do something in January. And I fully 100% agree with Jamie Carragher. Liverpool cannot afford to go 1 or 2 months without a senior centre-back, and that's what we are facing right now with Matip, Gomez and Van Dijk out injured. So let me know, would you think Sven Botman would be a great signing for Liverpool? Let me know if you agree with that or not. I think he's a little inexperienced, but for like 20 million, 25 million, I think it would be a great option going forward. Steve Nicol blasted Liverpool's attacking players and blamed them for Liverpool dropping points against West Brom, which is very interesting because most people blame the Matip injury and the set piece, and also Curtis Jones for giving the ball away before the corner. So this is what Steve Nichols said. We have applauded this magnificent front three. We patted them on the back. We said how brilliant they are, how they can produce something out of nothing. And you know what? These are the sort of games, like the West Brom game, where you have to earn that sort of praise. It's one thing to go and play in a big atmosphere against the big teams, and you turn it on, and it's razzle-dazzle. And when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, Mane, Firmino and Salah for me are the reason Liverpool didn't win the game against West Brom. I think they should have played better. Salah and Firmino were pretty out of sorts, but also the midfield didn't really offer anything. Trent and Robertson didn't have good games, so I think it was overall the whole team's fault, not just Mane, Salah and Firmino's fault. And Andy Robertson thought that Liverpool got what they deserved against West Brom, which was a point, nothing more. And he said, when you go slack, you get what you deserve. When you come up against a similarized team, you know they will stay in it and take the one chance they get. We created a lot of chances in the first half, and then in the second half, it was as if we didn't want to do it again. We went slack, and every one of us made a mistake in the second half, which can't happen. Credit to West Brom for the way they played the second half. You know they will look to frustrate you and play the game down and hit you on the counter-attack. We didn't let them do that in the first half, and then they grow with confidence the longer it goes 1-0. We should be experienced enough to see it out and build on the 1-0. We should have been 2-0, 3-0, maybe 4-0 at halftime. We were dominating, and it was up to us to take the chances, but we also should be professional enough to win it 1-0 if we have to. We will take the point and move on. We can't dwell on it, but it's a huge disappointment. I've been in a championship team that has come up, and you want to frustrate the big teams and get that one chance you can get, and that's exactly what happened. Credit to them, they were great in the second half, but we need to be so much more professional. We didn't do that enough, and that is frustrating. And I agree with Andy Robertson. Liverpool didn't do enough. We really should have buried the game in the first half where we had the chance to do that. And Jurgen Klopp said that Liverpool deserved to drop points, even though West Brom played a 6-4-0 formation in the first half. Jurgen Klopp said, the problem that I have is that I think West Brom deserved the point. It's our fault, but they deserved the point the second half. First half was a really strange game. I don't know the stats yet, but it looks like it was 90%, 10% possession, something like this. I can't remember a counter-attack from West Brom or whatever. We were just playing around, and it's a massive challenge, I know that, to stay on track and do it and do it and do it again. But we should have done it because on the other hand side, it is exactly the same challenge to defend like West Brom defends for 95 minutes, because they didn't change a little bit when they were 1-0 down. First 5 minutes of the second half, they had more situations than they had in the entire first half, and we could have sorted that by passing, just easy, simple, quick to the next player, prepare this position for the channel ball, also the runs and these kind of things. So we could have done it, but we didn't, and that's why it's our fault that in the end it's a 1-1 and not a 1-0 or a 2-0 to us. So that's what we have to accept, and we will do that, of course. We should have won the game, and we wanted to win the game, and we didn't. Now we are all depressed or whatever. The boys are more angry than anything else because they know that it was not perfect, but that's it now. Of course, we have to play the next game in 3 days, but we don't live in a dreamland and just win football matches because we want to win them. We have to work for it, we have to play for it, we have to finish the situations off, and we have to pass in the right moments. These kind of things what the boys are able to do, and that's it. In the end, we just drew a Premier League game. That can happen. It can happen against West Brom. They had a new manager. They played in the first half a system I didn't see a lot in my life, a 6-4-0 system or whatever. That's completely fine. They have challenges to stay this kind of disciplined for the rest of the season and to stay in the Premier League. We have to be disciplined as well in a different way. We have to do both, being offensive, active, creative and defend. That's what we have to do, and we could have done that better tonight. That's it. Joel Matip is injured, and it's not the first time that the centre half is injured. It's of course not good, especially now as he was in a really good shape again, but we cannot change that. We just have to accept it and carry on. And you could feel that Jurgen Klopp was so disappointed that we didn't win this game, because this was a huge opportunity. Almost all of our title rivals dropped points, except Manchester City, and I was so thankful that Wolves equalized against Tottenham in the 85th minute, because that leaves Tottenham well behind Liverpool, and now Tottenham have no wins from 4 games, and Jose Mourinho's title challenge is collapsing. But this because Liverpool are so inconsistent, because Liverpool have so many injuries at the back. That's why this title race is so open. If we either had Gomez or Van Dijk fit, I'm sure that Liverpool would have been well clear in the title race. But at this stage, if the teams behind us win their games in hand, we could have 4 teams separated by 3 points, and those 4 teams are Manchester United, Everton, Man City, and of course Liverpool. So I think this will be a fascinating title race, and that's what we want ultimately. Of course, I would want Liverpool to win the title every season easily, but that's not gonna happen, especially in this pandemic season, and also with Liverpool having these massive injuries at centre back. It was never going to be easy, I think. But Liverpool have to sign a centre back. That's the bottom line, in my opinion. And Danny Murphy has said that Liverpool fans should give Mo Salah their full support, even though he gave that interview recently. As a fan, you would want him to nail his colors to Liverpool and shoot down any transfer speculation immediately. But if you think about it from Mo Salah's point of view, it's understandable. I always think it is best to judge players by their work rate and performances on the pitch, and you cannot fault Salah this season or at any time since he joined the club. And that's true, and only Salah knows what his plans are for the future. But I think as long as Liverpool have him tied down to a long-term contract, even if we sell Salah, we can bring in an incredible replacement if we need it. We can bring in Erling Haaland, Jadon Sancho, Mbappe, somebody like that, if Salah decides to go next summer. But I don't think he will, but you never know. With these foreign players, you never know if Barcelona or Real Madrid come calling. But right now, it wouldn't make sense to leave Liverpool from a footballing point of view, and even from a financial point of view. Salah is earning an incredible salary at Liverpool. But that's it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. See you later, guys. Goodbye.